Hello viewers, welcome to my channel. When Corey Feldman stepped onto the glittering ballroom floor of Dancing with the Stars, fans expected one of two things: either a nostalgic, show-stopping performance from the 80s icon or an awkward, fumbling attempt at ballroom dancing. What they got, however, was something far more nuanced, a glimpse into the human side of celebrity life and the unpredictable ways in which public scrutiny intersects with personal focus. Contrary to speculation online that Feldman lacked dedication or energy during his DWTS stint, sources close to the star insist that it wasn't laziness that hindered his performances, it was distraction, specifically the swirling media storm surrounding Charlie Sheen. For the uninitiated, Corey Feldman's career is a mosaic of high-profile triumphs and turbulent controversies. From his breakout roles in The Goonies and Stand By Me to his outspoken advocacy against abuse in Hollywood, Feldman has consistently remained a figure in the public eye, often subjected to intense scrutiny. His decision to join DWTS was both a professional opportunity and a personal challenge, a chance to demonstrate physical prowess, artistic expression, and sheer determination in a new arena. Fans anticipated glittering costumes, energetic choreography, and a revival of the beloved 80s charisma that made Feldman a household name. Yet, as rehearsals commenced, insiders noticed subtle signs that Feldman's focus was fractured. It wasn't a lack of work ethic; he was reportedly punctual, willing to rehearse long hours, and fully engaged in mastering complicated routines, but his mind was elsewhere. According to multiple sources, Feldman was absorbed by the ongoing headlines about Charlie Sheen, a former co-star and longtime friend, whose life had been splashed across tabloids in ways that demanded constant attention. Charlie Sheen, notorious for his unpredictable antics and headline-grabbing controversies, had recently been making news for personal and professional reasons. Every press cycle seemed to bring a new story, ranging from interviews and public appearances to social media commentary, keeping Feldman in a near-constant state of mental distraction. Insiders explain that the two shared a unique bond, shaped by years in Hollywood and overlapping experiences in the entertainment industry, so Feldman couldn't help but feel personally invested in the narratives surrounding Sheen. The distraction manifested in subtle, human ways. Feldman would sometimes pause mid-rehearsal, not from fatigue but from lingering thoughts about media coverage or Sheen's latest public statements. He'd check his phone between routines or ask his dance partner for updates about the news, moments that might have looked like disengagement to the casual observer. Yet, behind the scenes, his commitment never wavered. Rehearsal footage shows Feldman tirelessly practicing spins, lifts, and timing, working closely with professional dancers to perfect every sequence. In interviews during the season, Feldman himself hinted at the challenge of balancing external distractions with the demands of DWTS. Without naming names, he spoke about the difficulty of keeping my head in the game when life outside the dance floor constantly intrudes. For fans who might have judged him harshly after a less than perfect performance, the reality is far more human. Even experienced entertainers can struggle when personal concerns collide with professional commitments. This situation sheds light on a broader phenomenon in the age of instant news. For celebrities like Feldman, the pressure isn't just to perform but to navigate a media landscape where every action, or distraction, is magnified. A brief lapse in focus during rehearsal becomes fodder for gossip blogs; a pause to check the news is interpreted as laziness or lack of preparation. Feldman's experience on DWTS exemplifies how the public often misreads nuance, mistaking temporary distraction for enduring deficiency. Dance partners and choreographers praised Feldman's dedication behind the scenes, noting that he approached each routine with a mix of technical precision and expressive flair. In practice sessions, he exhibited remarkable stamina, mastering steps that would challenge even seasoned dancers. His lifts were executed with strength, his footwork displayed fluidity, and his ability to convey emotion through movement suggested a performer deeply attuned to his art. The disconnect between these internal observations and public perception underscores the dangers of judging performance solely through televised snippets. Adding to the challenge was Feldman's own perfectionism. Known for his meticulous attention to detail in his acting and public projects, he struggled internally when external news distracted him. Every misstep or imperfect spin became magnified in his mind, creating a feedback loop where stress over Sheen-related headlines temporarily impacted his on-floor confidence. In many ways, Feldman's experience was emblematic of a universal struggle, balancing professional focus with the flood of information and emotional investment that life throws at us. Interestingly, Feldman's distraction wasn't entirely negative. Some choreographers argue that the heightened emotional state contributed to moments of authenticity in his performances. When a dancer truly feels a narrative, whether joy, worry, or tension, it can translate into more compelling artistry. Feldman's awareness of external realities may have inadvertently enhanced the emotional resonance of certain routines, giving audiences glimpses of genuine vulnerability that are rare in a competition often dominated by polished athleticism. Fans who followed Feldman's journey closely noted a dichotomy. On the one hand, occasional slips in choreography or timing were apparent. On the other, there was an undeniable charm and authenticity to his performances. Unlike some competitors who execute routines mechanically, Feldman's dance moments carried personality. He embodied the notion that art is inseparable from human experience, distraction and imperfection are part of the equation. In this sense, DWTS became more than a competition for Feldman, it was a mirror reflecting the complex interplay between personal life, public scrutiny, and artistic expression. Moreover, the Feldman-Sheen dynamic illustrates the intersection of celebrity friendship and media culture. In Hollywood, relationships are rarely private, and personal bonds are subject to public interpretation. Feldman's attentiveness to Sheen's situation was not a lapse in professionalism but a reflection of loyalty in an industry where loyalty is often scarce. This loyalty adds depth to Feldman's public persona, reminding fans that behind every headline is a network of human relationships influencing decisions, moods, and focus. Critics of Feldman's DWTS journey sometimes fail to contextualize the magnitude of distraction he faced. Unlike competitors whose lives may be relatively shielded from constant media cycles, Feldman's decades-long career in the spotlight means that personal and professional news are inextricably linked. In other words, his off moments were less about a lack of effort and more about navigating the emotional reality of being a public figure while performing at peak physical and artistic levels. Industry insiders suggest that Feldman's experience offers lessons for viewers and fans. First, televised snippets are often misleading. What appears as disengagement may be a fleeting mental preoccupation. Second, the humanity of performers, especially those balancing multiple pressures, is worth acknowledging. Feldman's journey reminds audiences that behind glittering costumes and camera angles are people juggling emotions, news cycles, and personal bonds. Finally, Feldman's perseverance amid distraction illustrates resilience. Despite the pull of external stressors, he continued to rehearse, perform, and grow as a dancer. The conversation around Feldman's DWTS stint also intersects with broader cultural discussions about attention, mental load, and public perception. In an era where celebrities, every action is documented and scrutinized, even the slightest lapse is amplified, often stripped of context. Feldman's focus wavered not because he was lazy but because he was human, a reality that resonates with anyone who has tried to concentrate on a task while grappling with pressing concerns elsewhere. Reflecting on the season, Feldman himself acknowledged the challenge of balancing focus and distraction. In candid interviews post-DWTS, he emphasized the importance of empathy and context when judging public figures. He explained that while he gave his all to each routine, life outside the studio inevitably influenced his mental space. His message was clear: audiences benefit from compassion, recognizing that high performance often occurs alongside high stress, and perfection is rarely devoid of distraction. Ultimately, Corey Feldman's DWTS experience is more than a story about dance. It is a study of human resilience, the intersection of professional dedication and personal distraction, and the complex ways public figures navigate loyalty, media, and artistry. The Charlie Sheen headlines that distracted him were not mere tabloid fodder, they were real-life concerns affecting a friend and a peer, demonstrating the blurred lines between public spectacle and private life. While some viewers may continue to misinterpret moments of distraction as laziness, the truth is more layered. Feldman's commitment to rehearsals, his emotional expressiveness on the floor, and his perseverance amid distraction reveal an artist striving for excellence under less than ideal circumstances. The narrative that he wasn't trying oversimplifies a deeply human story of focus, loyalty, and resilience. In the end, Feldman's journey on DWTS deserves recognition not for flawless execution but for the honesty, vulnerability, and effort he brought to each routine. His story is a reminder that celebrities, like everyone else, contend with multiple realities simultaneously: the demands of public performance, the pull of personal obligations, and the emotional weight of connections that matter. Feldman navigated these complexities with professionalism and heart, proving that dedication is not always visible in every moment but is present nonetheless. As the season concluded, Feldman's performances were remembered not just for choreography but for authenticity, a rare commodity in competitive entertainment. His distracted moments, once misread as laziness, became a testament to the reality that life rarely pauses for perfect timing. And perhaps, in an industry obsessed with spectacle, Feldman's journey serves as a subtle reminder: empathy, context, and understanding matter, even on the glittering floors of Dancing with the Stars. In retrospect, Corey Feldman's time on DWTS was not defined by distractions or missteps but by a steadfast commitment to art, friendship, and self-expression. He reminded audiences that behind the sequins and mirrors, real people navigate real concerns, and that sometimes, the headlines that seem most trivial are the ones that truly matter. For Feldman, dancing was never about perfection, it was about presence, effort, and the courage to continue despite distractions. And in that sense, he wasn't lazy at all. He was human.